Welcome to the video on division, and for this video we have three objectives. First is to find the multiplicative inverse. Next we want to actually do a divide, and finally at the end we're going to simplify an algebraic expression. So the first problem asks us to find the multiplicative inverse. We need to define what does multiplicative inverse mean. And multiplicative inverse also goes by another name. Multiplicative inverse is also known as the reciprocal. So multiplicative inverse is reciprocal. And multiplicative inverses, if we were talking in plural, would be two numbers that when you multiply them together you get the number 1. So two numbers whose product is 1. And so to find a multiplicative inverse, we just need to find the second number who will make the first number's product be 1. So in this case 3, what number times 3 gives us 1? Well, 3 times 1/3 does give us 1. And there's actually a simpler way of finding the multiplicative inverse, and that is to take the number, and if it's not a fraction, turn it into a fraction. In this case we'll just write 3/1, and then just flip it. So we'll make the numerator the denominator and vice versa. So we'll write this as 1/3, and that was the multiplicative inverse. For the next one, -2/3, let's use our shortcut. And so all we need to do is flip our number upside down. It's already a fraction. So we'll write it as -3/2. And then let's verify that these two are multiplicative inverses. They need to multiply to give us 1. 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 2 is 6, and they have the same sign, so it's positive. And 6/6 is 1. So yes, they are multiplicative inverses. And so the multiplicative inverse of -2/3 is -3/2. -3/2. I didn't write on that previous problem what the multiplicative inverse was. Let me just write it right alongside here. It was, remember, 1/3. Okay. And now our next problem is to find the quotient, and we need to define what is a quotient. A quotient is the result or answer of a division problem. So it's the result of division. And so looking over at our problem, we want to find the quotient or the answer to this problem, and it's just 24 divided by 3. That's 8. And we use the same rules as we did for multiplication. The signs are different here, so when the signs are different your answer is -8. Okay, how about the next problem? The next problem we're going to divide with a fraction, and so let's come up with a step to do division with fractions. And actually we can use this same method for division of any type of problem, whether it has a fraction in it or not, but in this case we're going to look at one that does have a fraction in it. So division with fractions, what we need to do is change the problem from a division problem into a multiply problem. So change to multiply, and the first number is just going to stay the same. So we're going to multiply to change to a multiply of the first number no change with the first number. But then the second number, we want to change it to its multiplicative inverse. So, and the multiplicative inverse of the second number, multiplicative inverse of the second number. All right, so back to our problem, we have negative 24, so we're going to rewrite that as negative 24, no change with the first number, but we want to change it to a multiply now. And we want to take the multiplicative inverse of 1/3. And remember, the quick and easy way of finding the multiplicative inverse is it's already a fraction, and all we need to do is just flip it upside down. So the multiplicative inverse of 1/3 is 3/1, and so we're going to multiply by 3/1. And now, since 3/1 is simply just 3, so we don't need the 1 in the denominator. And now we're going to multiply those two numbers. 24 times 3 is 72, and we have different signs, so our product will be negative 72. Finally, the last problem, we're going to simplify, and we have 3 times the quantity 2x plus 1, subtract x minus 1, and we'll use the distributive property first to remove the parentheses there. And here's a shortcut for removing that second parentheses. Anytime you have a negative sign in front of a parentheses, and let's say we have just a minus b inside of the parentheses, then we can just remove the parentheses and change the signs of both of the terms inside. So that would be minus a plus b. And we're going to do that in our problem. So first, let's use the distributive property to get rid of the first parentheses. That's our first step in simplifying. So 3 times 2 is 6x, and 3 times 1 is 3. And to remove the parentheses in the second problem, remember, all we need to do is just change the signs. So x becomes negative x, and negative 1 becomes 1. Next, we will group like terms together, and so let's group the terms that have the variable x in it. That would be 6x, and then we have subtract x, and we can change that if we like to add a negative x. Change colors here. So subtract x means the same thing as plus a negative x, and we'll write that in our grouping symbol. So 6x, then plus negative x, and I'll put a parentheses there, plus negative x, and then let's group the terms that don't have a variable in it. Well, that would be the 3 and the 1, so that's just 3 plus 1. Then the next step is to add the groups, and so we have 6x plus negative 1x, and we just add the coefficients of the variable. 6 plus negative 1 is 5x, and then we just add our two terms that don't have a variable. 3 plus 1 is 4. 5x plus 4 is the answer. Okay, we did find multiplicative inverses, and we did do division, including ones that had fractions, and we did simplify one algebraic expression. That does it for this time, and we'll see you next time.